Dark Souls is one of the most well-known game trilogies ever. Everyone's played a Dark Souls game, or at least have made an attempt to. So what if we scrap that entire idea and give free reign to a smaller dev studio? Kena Bridge of Spirits is what can only be described as Dark Souls if it was made by Pixar. Well, at least until you play it on Expert. The story follows Kena, a young spirit guide who uses her magical abilities to help deceased people move from the physical to the spirit world. So, essentially we're playing as the Grim Reaper. This game features amazing visuals, a story that only sort of made me cry, and combat like this. Well, it is like a Dark Souls game. I'm just saying, for a small studio that not many people knew about, they went the hell off on this one. Oh, that explains a lot. Starting off, I find myself leaving a dark and ominous cave and free-roaming a forest like a certain event I might not be allowed to mention. It's here that I find two children in the middle of the forest, and I'm just thinking, man, their parents kinda suck. After just so kindly trying to introduce myself, I'm briefly reminded of the concept of stranger danger, especially if that stranger is carrying a giant weapon. But I think they may have figured that out too late. Moving forward, we make our first adorable little friend called a Rod. Essentially, these are just like Pikmin, but well, cuter. After making my own little army, and by army, I mean a fucking army, I'm confronted by a guy who might possibly be the bad guy of this game.
Death and corruption. All that remain here.
See, I was right. Remember when I said this is like Dark Souls? And the bigger my army gets. After meeting up with the spirit kids again, I guess they trust me after watching me brutally destroy a tree monster.
If you want to get to the mountain shrine, you have to help us with something first.
Of course. Approaching the village, I'm shown what sadness and desperation can do to a man. With poison all over the place, I mean, it's just not a good sight. And don't touch, they just might kill you. After essentially playing cleanup crew for a second time, I'm introduced to a stereotypical old man in the forest who, unsurprisingly, gives me guidance and advice. Now, where have I seen that trope before? Long story short, we have to help Taro move on to the spirit realm, blah blah blah, but hey, look at this cool mask he gave me. So we venture out into the forest on our journey to set Taro's spirit free, and of course they have to come along. It's like being an older sibling all over again. After proving that I might possibly need anger management classes, I'm introduced to a new ability called the Forest Tier. Did I also mention they fucking tank through the poison? They're literally just Pikmin. After some Assassin's Creed platforming, getting my ass absolutely humbled in a fight, and learning to parry, one time before getting my ass absolutely knocked out again, I find myself in a rainforest? It's here that I start seeing Taro's faint memories. I follow what I can only assume is a roaming memory, and these devs really want to stretch out the playtime, huh? So now we have to find 3 relics in order to help find and rescue Taro, which forced me to use the map way more than I expected. Also, you know how in games like Legend of Zelda you're able to swim faster because you have a stamina wheel? Yeah, I missed that too. I also started developing strats in the fighting parts of the game. Key example being the let him get up strat.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. Like that.
Sorry, I just wanted to include that because what the fuck? Finally arriving to Russo's place, he shows me that my staff is also a bow and arrow. And I'm just here thinking, man, maybe I should go into the woods and look for an old guy to teach me cool stuff. But that's just an easy way to find my face on a poster in the back of a milk carton. To be honest, the bow and arrow made the game so much easier to lame enemies out. Like, come on, if I'm given the opportunity to do it with an AI, why wouldn't I? But yeah, we got the relic, whatever, on to the next. Oh. Shrine's cleared, I promise you didn't miss anything. The next little bit of this section is extremely boring, mostly because I just got lost for like 20 minutes and I just found myself consulting the map every 20 seconds. But I eventually found the last relic, after using a little bit of brute force, and make my way to confront Taro, which wasn't easy.
Even now, it's hard to forgive myself.
Taro.
I like turtles.
I'm sorry, Kena. We can't take you to the mountain shrine.
Be done if you wish to reach the mountain shrine.
Off I go to free Adira spirit, and it's here that I meet Hana, who after 5 minutes of knowing me gives me bombs? God, this is so cool! A bow and arrow and bomb combo? I can't wait to use this on enemies. Whoa, what the hell happened here? This is not what Smokey Bear stands for! How did that clear the fire. With essentially the same game plan as last time, I have to go find 3 relics in order to even have a chance to save Adira. Starting off by hoping this here rocks. Yeah, I don't see it either. Today's word of the day is decomposition. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. After possibly getting PETA called on me for the 2nd time since starting YouTube, Jesus! Call Team Trees on me while you're at it. That's gotta be racially motivated, right? Yeah, no, that's definitely racially motivated. After reuniting a happy family, I'm swiftly reminded that the family isn't complete, so my journey continues with 2 more relics left to find. Hey, that looks like a Dark Souls reference. The joke's that I've never played Dark Souls. Figuring out that I almost got my ass kicked for some tools, I took my anger out by destroying Mother Nature. Isn't that what caused me to get my ass kicked to begin with? I also don't think I ever brought up cursed chests, mostly because I wasn't really too focused on completing them much. They're basically just there to give you a bit of a challenge if you find yourself getting too bored, and they even give you rewards for completing them. And to be honest, they're really easy. Really easy. Persistence is key. Either that or I'm overly stubborn. Yeah, remember this? Getting the last relic would have been easier if I didn't keep dying to these little bastards. But I eventually made it through with my sanity taking more of a hit than my in-game character ever could. With all the relics collected and the land restored, I make my way to confront Adira. And she might hear me out the 2nd time. God, I feel so single. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of fun. Rescuing Toshi was a little different. And by that, I mean I f***ing died. It's here we learn more about Kena in her search for the mountain shrine. You see, she lost her father at a very young age, and over time she's grown to accept that he was gone. She became a spirit guide in this place because she thought that maybe if she helped enough spirits cross over, then he'd see her and he'd be proud of her. And that is a goal I will set to achieve, and proud he was going to be. You know what I'm trying to say. Venturing out to find Toshi's relics, I faced the toughest of enemies, climbed the highest of mountains, and worst of all, I waited. And with all that out of the way, the only thing left to do was face the final battle. And while Toshi was strong, and I mean strong, I had one thing he didn't. Gimmicks. Okay, I may have spoke too soon, but the 2nd time was the charm. And while I defeated him, he did something that I was never expecting him to ever do.
You may think you know these creatures. Let me show you their true nature.
And with the loss of our little buddy army, this has become more than just fighting corruption. This has become a personal revenge plot, and I will not stop until I get my little buddy army back. Oh, okay then. You ever heard of Dark Souls before?
Goodbye, Kena. There is only one spirit left for you to help.
Helping the final spirit meant I'd have to say goodbye to my little buddies. And while this is a truly heartbreaking thing to do, it's what had to be done. While Kena was truly an emotional roller coaster, I think that's what ties it all together. With an amazing art style, beautiful and lovable characters, and just an overall amazing story, I think this game is heavily underrated and completely underplayed. It's definitely something I would play again. And I did, because this whole video was my second playthrough.